Okay, in today's video, I want to talk about Oracle index utilization. So, what we're trying to do is monitor what indexes are being used and how often, so we can measure, the effectiveness of indexes that we have in place. And, why do we want to do this? We want to do this because all indexes have costs. And it's not just in Oracle, it's in any database. So every time you do an insert into a table and that table has indexes, the index structure needs to be maintained for each index. Same thing with updates, provided that the update is operating on columns that are part of at least one index in the table. And then again, deletes are going to affect all indexes. So inserts and deletes affect all indexes, and updates will affect any indexes that refer to the columns that are being updated as part of the update statement. So I'd like to start out with a query that will allow you to view index utilization. So you're going to need access to the DBA views of Oracle in order to run this query. And what we're doing is we're selecting from the DBA's index usage table. And in this case, we're passing in a particular owner. So this is a schema owner. In this case, it's Scott, which is a default schema in Oracle. And then we're going to look for any indexes that have a total access count of 0 and haven't been used in the last 30 days. And then we're just ordering by last use so we can get that output. So once we get that listing, it's pretty safe to say in most cases that if you've got an index that hasn't been used in 30 days and has an access count of 0, you probably can drop it. But you can mess around with these parameters any way you want to determine which ones that you may want to drop. And here's just a trick that I typically use to generate SQL that I'm going to run. So in this case, I'm just taking that index name and the owner, and I'm putting it into a drop index command. Then you have your terminator with the semicolon in case you have more than one that gets output. We're going to take a look at this in a SQL developer window in a minute. So that's how you can generate SQL to drop indexes that are not being used. And before you do that, you probably want to save the DDL for the index. And here's another store procedure you can call. So you need access to the DBMS metadata schema, and you call the get DDL function, and you pass in the object type, the name, and the owner from the DBA index usage table. So this is getting basically the same list that we had before. So we've got the same from and where clause that we had that we used to generate the drop commands. So we've got total access count of 0 and that last used sysdate minus 30. So that's how you can generate DDL to save the index creation. So in case you make a mistake, you could actually bring that index back. So let's take a look at some actual data. So here I'm going to the DBA index usage, and I'm going to just a sample Apex for the Oracle Apex schema. We're going to take a look at the index usage in this particular schema. So we've got the owner, which is what we've passed in. We've got the name of the index, the total access count, total execution count, number of rows returned, and when it was last used. So now we want to try and identify anything that has an access count of 0 and has not been used in the last 30 days and generate the drop index commands for that. So here we go. We could just copy that out and we could run that if we wanted to. But before we run it, we probably want to pull out the DDL for that. So we're going to call our DBMS metadata get DDL, pass in the index, the name, and the owner. And it's just basically the same query they ran up here, but we're just generating the SQL to generate the create index command. And we take that, copy it out, and we'll paste it in here. And then you can just save the script off somewhere safe, just in case someone said, hey, we need that index back. We actually do need to use it. You just didn't have the right parameters for picking, which indexes should be dropped. So always have a fallback plan. And this is a great way to do that with respect to indexes. That's it for today's video. I hope you guys learned something. If you enjoyed the video, please like, consider subscribing, leave comments. If this is a topic that you want to learn more about, please let me know. Give me something specific, and I'll be certain to do a video on it. This is an important topic. Anytime you've got anything in place in your database, you want to make sure it's being used because there are costs associated with it. And even over time, things change. So you might have queries that use a particular index, but those queries get retired. You're not using them anymore in your application, or your users are no longer using those queries. And if it's a large table, it could be taxing your system. So you want to keep an eye on it, make sure things are actually being used. So that's it for today. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.